Welcome to 5 Star Weekly. 2 wins in a row. Who is this team? But we have a new DP and a new head coach. Will that keep that train going forward? We're getting all that and more coming up. Welcome to the show, 5 Star fam. I'm AJ, and returning is Marc.
Back again.
And wherever it is you get your pods, subscribe, share, and leave us a good rating.
This segment is sponsored by Thinking Man Tavern, a cozy Decatur neighborhood pub. Grab a tasty beverage from a wide variety of selections and a plate of something delicious from the menu. To go, check out Thinking Man Tavern.
5 Star fam, you know the drill. We have a Patreon. Join us at patreon.com/ATL UTD FanTV and help support us from a ground level. But guys, let's get into the match review. LAFC, and it was, woo, you go in thinking like, okay, this is going to be really, really tough. And for large parts of it, it's fairly even. But at the end of the day, we pull it off with 3 points, 2 wins on the bounce. Not too shabby, especially, with the new head coach coming in. Josef Martinez returning, and he, of course, scores the goal for us with a well-worked goal. Yes. I think, definitely was beautiful to the eye for sure. Had the fans up in anticipation.
Yes.
But let's get quickly, because we haven't been doing fan cams for a minute. So obviously.
Yeah. Right.
Let's get your thoughts, Marc.
Yeah, it was a struggle. And I think being able to go back and watch the highlights afterwards did help. Yeah, the match honestly was a struggle. I think LAFC had the better of the chances in the first half, even though Atlanta had more of the ball. I think the defense, and one thing too I think is maybe underrated, is that the sun was in the eyes of Brad Guzan and the defenders in the first half. So that's an element that they wouldn't necessarily be used to. I guess
not only Brad Guzan's face and eyes and whatever,
God.
Everybody else that was in the supporter section and surrounding, definitely melting like just hot wax.
We were filleting, man. I mean, we had to move. We had to find a different spot for the second half.
Otherwise, your boys would have passed out and you wouldn't have this episode. We wouldn't know what happened.
Pretty much. But yeah, no, it's But I mean, to score right at the beginning of the second half, and such a beautiful goal. I mean, like Moreno stealing a man's soul, and then that distribution to Barco, and a
little bit of a lucky kind of deflection, a little bit off the defender.
Hey, right, exactly. I mean, because at the end of the day, it's a running behind from Barco that creates the goal, exactly. and just seeing those three work in tandem to combine and create for that goal. Especially against an LA defense that had kept Atlanta United out for the most part in the first half, I think. So, and then beyond that, it was, mostly a grind. Guzan was definitely the more busy of the keepers. He was definitely calling the action a few times. I think he was solid overall. Maybe 1 or 2 spills that was a little bit But at the end of the day, it's a clean sheet. I'm not going to complain too much. And, I mean, for me, LAFC came in struggling. And I felt like if Atlanta United are seriously going to make a playoff, spot push, they have to win games like this, And we'll get into Toronto as well, who kind of are in the same boat. But I think it was a win that they had to get, and they did it. And I think a final thought for this part. I know there's some trepidation about bringing in Pineda now. But I think actually now is a good time for the next head coach to take over. And I think there has to be a certain level of responsibility shown by the players. It's like, okay, you didn't agree with the previous coach and his methods, whatever, fine. But at the end of the day, like, this is still a pretty good team on paper. And so, there's a certain level. There should be like a baseline in terms of performance that we should expect from the players. Yeah. And, when it all clicks and they have a good coach and so on, maybe we see the full potential. But at least, like, a baseline of, okay, this is what we're capable of. Yeah.
And to your point about the talented players, definitely there's 3 DPs on the pitch. Technically.
Right.
Luis Araujo, still learning how to say it. But essentially, you have a former DP in Alan Franco. I mean, basically you have a full strength in terms of, like, the top level type of talent on the squad, you should be able to beat a side that hasn't won in 6 games. And so definitely, they do enough here, and it's still for the most part Rob Valentino's kind of let the players play and allow them to be in the best positions that they are on the pitch to do the most damage against a team. And yeah, like how many times have we been able to see Ezekiel Barker running behind? I mean, Josef Martinez be in that spot that we know he is just so deadly in.
Right.
It's been few and far between this season, and of course, last season where Josef Martinez was not present, obviously. So
right.
it really, I think, when you have the pieces together, I mean, when you even have an interim head coach, like that's, it speaks, I think, to the level of, how important the players are to this degree. Yeah. And also, I mean, like you're saying, this kind of change that the team is going to go through, it is going to put the onus on the players. Pretty much, they have to show up. They have to, prove that, well, they're good players. And that's,
right.
That whole, coach thing, it's not just that, just every bit of this just sucks or something. But it's also, I can already hear the still, but Boca out. But yes, it is, these players do have talent. They should, and, they have the ability to be able to perform. And that's what they have to do. Otherwise, Boca is out already probably for the most part. Most people want him out. But the players definitely have targets on their back too.
Right.
And that's my point here. But
so
I mean, what's interesting, I think, throughout this match, I think, is something that, there's some substitutions that are, at maybe the outset, a little bit of a head scratcher for me, at least. I mean, Ronald Hernandez didn't play too horribly, but he gets subbed off for Brooks Lennon, and he comes on. Not a huge factor, really. Probably still getting his legs underneath him after coming back from injury. Right. Maybe that's what it really was to give him a run out.
Right.
It seems like probably they're going to be, kind of the right back until the right backs kind of by committee until somebody really wins the job again.
Right.
Because, to be fair, Brooks Lennon, when he was out, Ronald Hernandez did a job.
He did.
And could you pick between the two?
I mean, so actually, my lineup.
Don't give that away.
Yeah, right. At the moment, I don't know if you necessarily bench Hernandez. So that much I would say. I wouldn't necessarily bench Hernandez. So, but
okay.
Yeah.
So we'll find out. Who Marc chooses for the next 11 at right back. But I mean, you have, I think, all in all, a pretty, I think, defensively sound match.
Mm-hmm.
The one disallowed goal aside, I think, we for the most part didn't. Maybe we weren't too stretched. We weren't, found out by any means, and so it's kind of it's a good building block of the smallest winning streak possible. But
right, yeah.
But it is one of those. We'll take the positives. We'll move forward with them.
Absolutely.
But I think by far some of the most interesting things about this match, I think, happened off the pitch. Because during, I believe, halftime, or at least maybe after the match, Josef Martinez, he gets, from a fan, this amazing portrait of him on a king card. It's so freaking good. And it's just like brilliant. I mean, it's massive. It's like,
it's so good. And I was trying to get a good look at it. That's a canvas, right?
That's a canvas.
And hand, oh my God, that's amazing talent. Amazing.
Yeah, truly. And also, I think what Josef Martinez said after the match, and were there a lot of things that were gold. Every single time Josef Martinez speaks.
Yeah, man.
But anyway, we'll get into that just slightly after I get into a little bit of this. So Josef Martinez, he scored his 5th goal of the match, first one at Mercedes-Benz Stadium since October 24th, 2019. So nearly 2 years. I mean, it's a long time coming, and I mean, yeah, you'll find out what he says a little bit afterwards if you haven't caught it. But yeah, I mean, it's just like that's tough mentally on a player,
Right.
You know, to who, you know, he's a guy who loves scoring and loves scoring at home, and he hasn't, you know, in that long. It's very, very tough mentally, I'm sure. But Barco got his 3rd assist of the season, and then Goose got his 4th clean sheet of the season. Also, the Tifo was the South's got something to say with all of our trophies in some of the letters. Loved it.
That was a good one.
Shout out to Iron Tooth,
Yeah, man.
for designing it, apparently.
Yeah.
Anyway, but and also Luis Araujo was unveiled in front of the crowd of 67,000 plus in the middle of the pitch by Darren Eales. So yeah, definitely, yeah, he still has some of the visa issues that he's got to work out. He'll eventually join the team. But yeah, I mean, definitely, you know, 2 on the bounce. Let's keep it rolling. But yeah, our next match is against Toronto FC on Wednesday, and we'll have that match preview later on for you in the show. But let's get into what was said afterwards, and yeah, it's definitely brilliant things. So let's get into the news. And yeah, Josef Martinez, yeah, he talked about a lot of things, but he said the club shouldn't change because of player or coach. The club has to be the club. Many mistakes were made that shouldn't happen again. We're a little tired of the same story. I think what Pineda has done in Seattle will slap us with humility. He also said and talked about his ACL injury last year, and you know, kind of pretty much in December as well, where he was still dealing with complications. But I said his serious complications were related to scar tissue and an infection that resulted in 3 surgeries in 5 days in December. Ooh. And said he seriously considered quitting football or soccer. So yeah, that's we're absolutely glad he didn't. But my God, yeah, it's that's just part of the whole, you know, rehab, and also you know, this part of the process that most people just don't understand of it. That there's a lot of hard times after you get an ACL tear, and then you know you have to recover, and you have to pretty much wait it out. It's like some guys might be able to come back in 6 months, but most, yeah, it's about a year plus that you actually get back to normal.
Right.
But he also said, this one, ooh, really spicy. Josef Martinez, he said that he wishes he was still playing with Julian Gressel. What do you think about that, man? Like, is he trying to stir some shit up? Like, what's happening?
You know, you could, I guess you could look at this and say, all right, he made one power play with the manager.
Ooh, okay.
Now he's going after the director, or, you know,
Director,
you know, the person who got rid of Gressel. Now, I mean, it's understandable as to why he would miss him, though. I mean,
yeah,
that combination was lethal. I mean, Gressel, he had a moment the other week where he stole, he stole a pass down the right wing, and then like played a beautiful ball in from the right, as he
ought to do.
Yeah, yes, as we've known him to do. So he's always had that. I personally have always defended the move of going from Gressel to Lennon, because I think Lennon's not a bad player, and I think it was worth it considering what you saved in that contract. But it was just, you know,
they haven't been able to play together on the pitch very much,
right.
And yeah. There's a difference in the maybe level of service for sure. Yeah, obviously Brooks Lennon does cross a lot.
Right.
Maybe the types of balls just aren't as similar to what Josef Martinez requires either when they have been together on the pitch. But yeah, no, I feel what you mean. But yeah, one more, maybe even spicier. Joseph said that Barco is like his son, and that when he was reminded that he calls Orlando, you know, his son, or you know, he's their daddy, he asked, or he said that, you know, Barco and Orlando are brothers, and he also said that he had to ask Brad Guzan because he's the mom. Okay, I mean, you know, we're just trying to decipher. I don't know if we can really unpack what he means here. I mean, I think he's just talking out of his ass, but man, it's good. It's good sounding shit, though. I mean, but anyway, let's move on into the announced head coach. And so Gonzalo Pineda, he is official. after a little bit of speculation and whatnot, he was not present during one of the matches as an assistant coach and all that. He's now official. He will be with us through the 2024 season. Under contract anyway. We'll see if he does the job to be able to be with us through the 2024 season. But Valentino will be the assistant still, and Liam Curran, the goalkeeping coach, will return as well. And Pineda will bring on Diego De La Torre, and he recently served as head coach of Cafetaleros de Chiapas in Mexico. And Valentino doing a great job in kind of pretty much 6 matches. He will still be the head coach until after Toronto FC. But in terms of some of the little bits, Eels, he was asked why and if this kind of LA United's normal approach with kind of more bigger names as head coaches, they went with a little bit more of a, one would say maybe safe kind of MLS hire. One that knows the league very much and all that. He said, quote, "With every hire, there's going to be an element of risk." And he mentions the knowledge of MLS that Pineda has as well as the long-term commitment he offers. Do you agree with, what Eagles is saying here?
Yeah, I mean, in a way, what I tweeted basically is that this is a big hire in its own right. You know what I mean? Pineda is a well-respected assistant coach, decorated playing career, coming from the best organization in the league. So I think that's a stacked resume in and of itself. What I would also say is it can be difficult to build a culture if you keep hiring coaches who are looking at MLS as a springboard back to Europe or to Europe if they haven't been there yet. So like De Boer, you could have seen leaving after 2 or 3 successful years. Certainly Heinze, I think, was pretty open about his ambitions. So it's like that's all well and good. But I think to create some continuity somewhere along the line, I think a hire like Pineda, can pay off dividends, and I appreciate them, going in a different direction, but still being ambitious with the hire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's pretty much like when Pineda was asked, he I think mirrors what the sentiment is around the league, that LA United is a big job, because he said, quote, "When you're offered LA United, you go for it." I mean, that's just, I think, speaks for itself there.
Right.
And then also, with that, you have essentially a coach that's through pretty much all of the kind of, references that you hear around the league. A lot of people on Twitter were just like, this is a great hire. This is a guy who, is kind of, how has he not been hired yet, really?
Right.
And that's the thing. Yes, there will be the naysayers of this, but there's also, it's also, we need to question still, Boca and Eels here, like, have they made the right hire?
Sure.
Because, yes, he is unproven.
Right.
He does not have an actual coaching pedigree beyond being an assistant coach.
Yeah.
And whether he does have the tactical acumen of being able to set the tactics for each match.
Right.
What this reminds me of a lot is Mikel Arteta and Arsenal, him of Man City, of course, as Pep's pretty much right-hand man. And so whether you agree with that or not is a whole different thing. But
the argument for it is fair, I think. It just, to have my team associated with Arsenal in any way just hurts.
Listen, the parallels right now, the U-shaped passing, the ineptitude in attack, it's rife. So, the only big difference right now is Arthur Blank versus the Crompies.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, very obvious if you follow, just any of that type of sort. But Arthur Blank, obviously, is just kind of the most respectable of, big examples of owners in the league that, you hope to have.
Right.
Indeed. But
yeah, maybe, hopefully Pineda has a Tuchel-like effect.
Yeah, hopefully so, and we'll take that. Yeah, we're not in the Champions League, but yeah, we'll take some sort of
tournament win, MLS playoffs. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I'll absolutely take that for sure. But anyway, so let's get a little bit into why Gonzalo Pineda, he was not there being an assistant coach on that last match, and why he's not quite here quite yet. He will join on Thursday. Is because he caught COVID last week. So, yeah, you have that issue, but not really a huge issue. He will coach the team, and he will be at the helm against DC United over the weekend. But, yeah, moving on from that, you have Thiago Almeida. This bit that Fabrizio Romano, he said that LA United already are working to sign him in January, which it's kind of already, we all know, but I mean, this just has to be said. Fabrizio Romano is, he's reporting on LA United News like on the daily. It is, it's something.
No, I'm not gonna lie, I was shocked to see that. Though I follow Fabrizio Romano for Chelsea news and European-related football news. So the fact that he's reporting on Atlanta United news, I mean, like, it is technically related to Europe in the sense of...
Yeah, because Marseille, apparently they're not, and so, yeah, Almeida, it's pretty much, he's, we're trying to sign him.
Yeah.
And so whether it's going to happen or not, we shall see.
I mean, and it goes to show you, I think, Ligue 1 and the TV deal shenanigans that they're struggling with at the moment. So a lot of teams are struggling financially, and so an MLS team like Atlanta United is able to get a winger from Lille and possibly this Thiago Almeida from Marseille. So.
Yeah, or not Marseille, but let's start.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway. So, moving on from that, Jurgen Damm, he apparently was offered to Club America in exchange for Renato Ibarra. And that's according to John Sutcliffe, that he didn't want to go to Club America. Jurgen Damm, he responded to his own transfer rumor on Twitter, and he said, "At no time did I refuse." This is all translated from Spanish, obviously. "Things just didn't work out. I consider Club America a very big and important team for which I have great respect. Greetings." Obviously, he got a lot of shit from a lot of people and on Twitter, and so that's probably why he was like, "Yep, I'm gonna need to address this." I actually do care about Club America, but I think is it a surprise that So Carlos Bocanegra, he was quoted as saying that they're not going to make any moves for players outgoing, and then he apparently is, and not even apparently, he addressed it. Right, that he was shopped to Club America. Like, is this surprising to you? Like, is this?
I didn't expect it. I mean, the fact that it was, the fact that Club America, I guess, put it that way, the fact that Club America even considered it is interesting because he is making a lot of money. Yeah. I'm not surprised that Atlanta United tried to get rid of him, you know what I mean? But
been on the fringes lately on the team, hasn't really started in a really long time.
And I mean, like, with Araujo coming in, I don't see that changing anytime soon, so...
Right. Yeah, it's probably wise too, but Boca, maybe caught in another lie, but I mean, this one I can forgive probably because you're trying to get rid of an outgoing player, or you're a player that should be outgoing in that sense, but
and you're trying not to give up your leverage,
Right, and so moving on from that, Jurgen Damm, he did mention about Gonzalo Pineda on Passion W, or W maybe. He wrote or said, "I'm happy. He's made a name for himself here in MLS, and he's a great coach. We're Mexicans, but there is no advantage. I have to work just like everyone else to earn a place." So we'll see if he will become a part of Gonzalo Pineda's plans. But anyway, moving on from that, during the LA United match on Sunday, Darren Eales, he said at halftime, "Owen Wilson promised me an LA United win." Owen Wilson, obviously the actor. Most recently of Loki. But so he's welcome back to MLS, or MBS rather, repping the Five Stripes anytime he likes. 17s were amazing again, kept our team going in the second half and helped us grind out a huge win. Thank you. I don't know if you're an Owen Wilson fan or Wedding Crashers fan. I mean, for sure, love seeing Owen Wilson in LA United kits. So he crashed the party at the Benz, and
apparently this is a thing now.
I mean, it's just like so many celebrities just I mean, it's probably also aided because A lot of Marvel stuff is shot in Atlanta, and yeah, he's probably just chilling. So, anyway, moving on from that, LA United 2, they earned 3 points on the road, and they defeated Sporting KC 4-1 on Saturday. And Philip Goodrum, he scored 2 goals and registered an assist, and Darwin Mateus and Tyler Wolff each netted a goal as well. Tyler Wolff is on fire. And yeah, Robbie Mertz and Mackie Jopp also recorded an assist. The next match is against Pittsburgh Riverhounds on August 22nd. But anyway, we'll wrap up the news and get into the match preview. And the match preview is for Toronto FC. It's Wednesday at the Benz at 7 p.m. And yeah, Toronto FC, you know, it's you try to kind of you look at the standings and you're looking and you're looking and you're looking and they're at the bottom, which is surprising. But because that attacking talent at the top, as we'll pretty much preview in a second, is really good. So between essentially what's happened when you had Chris Armas and now you don't, you have a new coach. Still not much has changed.
Right.
Yeah. So it's kind of crazy, but especially for a team that by a lot of pundits was gonna finish as high as third. I mean, yeah. Ooh,
yeah, they sit below Cincinnati. Like, that was the most shocking bit to me.
Yes. So yeah, I mean, you have talent. Like, okay, yes, they're aging, but still, Bradley, Altidore, Pasuelo. I mean, what's happening here?
You signed Jefferson Saltado.
Saltado, exactly. I mean, it's like, what's happening? And like, he's a DP player. He comes in, and then, yeah, you win maybe like one match or two, and then still the slide continues.
Oh god,
it's wild. But last season, yeah, they were second in the Eastern Conference. So yeah, they didn't in the offseason really change too much, and that's to their detriment for sure. Yes, you also lose Greg Vanney as the head coach from last year, who went to LA Galaxy. That's probably the key. Yeah, you have pretty much players that are just like lost souls, probably. That they're. I mean, I'm not gonna maybe go this far with the metaphor, but I'm already kind of walking down it. So their Lord and Savior has pretty much led them astray.
All right.
And they pretty much don't have a guy that leads them.
It's like a generation of Arsenal fans who were led astray by Thierry Henry.
Oh my god! All right, we're gonna move on swiftly from that because that's a whole thing to unpack there that we won't get into here. But yeah, so key losses. Pablo Piatti, definitely I think a useful player. I would have taken him actually during the offseason. But yeah, they lost him. Didn't really gain many players, if any players, in the offseason. And then they signed Saltado, of course. But in terms of our history against them, it's not good. But I think this is our best chance ever to get another win against them. It's 4 wins for them to our 1, 12 goals to our 8, and there's 1 draw between us. But also, let's get into some of their players to watch if they were to be dangerous. Let's hope they're not. Let's hope it's not a trap game. But Pasuelo, of course, reigning MLS MVP. Altidore, he's back in the squad now. He's not frozen out anymore. And Jonathan Osorio, a guy that definitely is still very dangerous. And, we'll need to keep an eye on all 3 of them if they play. So, it's definitely one of those things. But let's get into the injuries and availability reports. We'll give you a crack at it in terms of some of these these names, but yeah, go ahead.
This is a welcome back. So Ayo Akinola's big one, probably torn ACL. He's going to be out. Of course, Tsubasa Endo, lower body, will be out. Shaquille Marshall Ruddy, not sure why he's out, but he's not going to be available. The probably recently acquired Dom Dwyer, questionable with a lower body injury, and Chris Mabinga, defender, is also questionable with lower body injury. So, some kind of significant names on that list.
Significant names for sure, and also, who's out for LA United?
Oh, yeah, Emerson Hyman, of course, torn ACL, will be out for the season. Lowell Adams still unavailable due to that left quad injury. Morini is questionable. Brooks Lennon is also questionable. He did come in over the weekend, so It's probably a precautionary listing. Franco Ibarra questionable with a lower body injury, and Luis Araujo is questionable due to visa-related issues.
Hey, you got it on the second time. All right. But here we go for the predicted starting 11, and we'll go through the lines together.
Yeah.
Goose, yeah, of
course.
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And yeah, in terms of the shape, are you gonna change it?
No, I think it's gonna be 3. I guess you call it 4. Yeah, 3-4-3. Yeah, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, who's in your back line?
So backline, Franco, Robinson, and Walkser. However, I guess Franco's been in the middle with Robinson on the right. But I wouldn't change that necessarily. So, yeah, roll with that back three.
Yeah, likewise. And yeah, into the wing backs, I have Lennon coming in. I think, yeah, that's kind of why like Ronald Hernandez hasn't played a ton of minutes. So his match fitness is still kind of being built up. Lennon, yeah, I think is going to come in for a midweek match. Bello, yeah, I mean the understudy is Mike Ambrose, who he's been torched the past few times that he's come in, and so I think Bello comes in again. Maybe he gets a maybe sub out if we're leading, hopefully something like that. Who knows? But what about for you?
So I have Hernandez retaining his right wing back spot. I have Bello at left wing back, and then did we do the midfield yet?
We haven't yet, but let's address who you think is going to be the starting right back. Then are you choosing?
Hernandez is going to be.
Yeah, is he the guy who wins out for you, or?
I don't know. I could, yeah.
Because you have been also high on Brooks Lennon a little bit. So.
Yeah. I could see Hernandez winning. Because the thing is, like, Brooks Lennon is not a natural defender. I do think right wing back would be a good spot for him, but Hernandez has also equipped himself well there. Lennon could also play right wing, so I do think that Ronald Hernandez probably will end up playing more right back, and maybe Lennon is just used up the field more.
Okay, all right. So yeah, in terms of the midfields, I mean, definitely very interesting. A lot of people could play here at the moment. Josetu's in a good run of form. But he hasn't played a ton of minutes. I wouldn't be so readily, wanting to put him back in. For me, Sadic comes in, and Sosa again. We don't have a backup for, the defensive midfielder position. So Sosa is it. What about you?
Right. Yeah. So of course Sosa retains his spot. I actually think Moreno is going to drop into the spot for this match.
Okay. Yeah. So very attacking. It's going to seem. So. Yeah, I think Moreno is going to be kind of more for me, kind of in that 10 role. Right. And then I'm just going to go up top already. Then Barco and Joseph up top for me.
Yeah.
Kind of that 3-5-2 look.
Yeah. For me, so I have Lennon actually at right wing in this particular setup. Joseph, of course, retaining his spot, and Barco to the left.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I mean. Really attacking. You get some width with Lennon, and yeah, that control with Moreno. But he's gonna have to do a lot of that dirty work.
Yeah,
and, might be a tough ask in a midweek game. We'll see.
Yeah, I think Hernandez probably will have to do a lot of covering for him as well.
Right.
From the right wing spot, right wing back spot. I mean.
Yeah, so that will be very interesting indeed. But that feeds us into our score prediction. So what do you got, man?
I got us winning 2-0. I'm fairly confident, I think, in this result. I mean, Toronto, just read off some stats here. 3.4 shots on target per match is good for 25th in the league. 2.1 goals conceded per game is the worst in the league. And they only have 1 clean sheet, which is tied for worst in the league. I mean, this is a team I think that we should be putting to the sword, which is why I think that they should come out with an attacking setup. There's got to be 3 points, I think, as Atlanta pushes towards a playoff spot, and I think they do it.
Yeah. I don't think this should be overlooked. This has trap game written all over it, and I really hope it's not the case. I'm knocking on some wood over here. But, yeah, I think it's a 2-1 win, and, yeah, not a shutout, but I'll take it. Yeah, 3 wins on the bounce. Yes, absolutely. Compound and add to this winning streak. But yeah, what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. But that wraps it up for the match preview and pretty much the entire show except for the question of the day. So the question of the day is, do you think the new additions of Luis Araujo and Gonzalo Pineda puts us over the top? Yeah, I mean, does it allow us, to make the playoffs? Let us know in the comments below. But guys, that wraps it up for the show. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. For Mark, I'm AJ. Thank you so much for watching.